have in the studio Guta, which is represented by Benjamin Yeboah. He is the National Welfare Officer for the Ghana Union of Traders Association. Mr. Yeboah, thank you very much for your time and for coming.
Thank you too for having me in your studio.
So how do your members feel about this border closure by Nigeria?
Well, good afternoon to your cherished viewers. See, the point is, they are really suffering from it. Just before I got to your studios, we had a member from Ashama who went to Nigeria. He does business there to buy some materials from Nigeria. But he got to the border and he was stopped. So they did not allow him to pass through with his goods. So he had to go back. Unfortunately for him, he went back to his supplier, and his supplier said, look, he didn't envisage this problem, and therefore he has used the money. And therefore the gentleman had to leave the goods with the supplier and come back to Ghana without the goods and the money. This is just one problem.
They stopped him? And they took the money and they took his goods?
No, they told him he can't go through with the goods. So he had to, because they've closed the land borders. So he had to go back to his supplier and take the goods back to him. But unfortunately, he wouldn't get his money back from the supplier. But the supplier said he envisaged that he's used the money, and therefore he had to leave the goods with the supplier and come back to Ghana. So this is the one-off thing that is going on. It's a problem, a big problem that is affecting businesses across borders. And it's quite unfortunate that we are having this at this time, especially for we to hear that our members were suffering and for us to issue a press statement before we got reactions both within and from outside.
Okay, so if I get what you're saying, this was not communicated to any, like you did not know. You only got to know when your members went there to make purchases and then they were stopped. That was the only time you got to know.
That is it. There wasn't any official interactions with anyone that this is what Nigeria is doing. Nigeria just got up one day and decided that, look, they're having problems with security, they're having problems with flooding of the markets, which is affecting their industries, they're having problems with smuggling and all that. So they decided to take a decision, regardless of the ECOWAS treaty that we've all signed on to.
Okay, so this is a very, very interesting development, given, previous conversations that we've had. When you listen to the minister, the Nigerian Foreign Affairs Minister, he said this is not targeted at countries, it is targeted at crime or criminal activities at their borders. But do your members sometimes feel as though this has anything to do with the ongoing misunderstanding between Ghanaian and Nigerian traders here in Ghana, for example?
See, that's unfortunate in the sense that there's actually no misunderstanding. It's a law that we are telling the lawmakers to enforce, and we did not make the law. The law says that this is what they are doing to help ensure that the local business people are, protected. Just like they are trying to do now. They are sanitizing their whole system. It's not just to do with the border closure. They are doing e-registration to ensure that every Tom, Dick, and Harry who is in the country, if you're an immigrant, you have to, register, and they know your status, why you are in Nigeria. If they feel that you are not there properly or illegally, they will definitely deport you. In fact, if you hear their immigration boss, he said they've deported over 2,000 people, including Ghanaians. What are they doing? They are sanitizing their system. Our problem is that should we get up and do something, we have ECOWAS Commission coming in to tell us that, look, there's a treaty, even though the treaty has a caveat. We expect that ECOWAS should go to Nigeria. We had our ministers going there. In fact, luckily we got in the last minute one of our Guta members joining the team there to tell them that, look, please, do it this way. Now they are telling us that, fine, bring some modalities, let us look at yours and see how best we can shape it. Couldn't they have done this before they took action? You see, it tells us that Nigeria usually have this tendency of doing things their way. Some years back, they had this prohibition list where they had over 42 items which they were protecting their industries from. And therefore, Ghanaians, even pharmaceutical items, tests that we couldn't take there. They do that before the African Continental Free Trade was signed. Look how long it took Nigeria to sign on it, as if it was, we were virtually begging them to sign on. It's a cute Ghanaian leadership to learn from and see that, look, in Nigeria, it's Nigeria first. And therefore in Ghana, it should be Ghana first. We should do things that will protect industries, we should do things, protect our businesses and everything, so that we make sure that we move our agenda. We have so much porous borders with a lot of illegalities moving into the system. What have we done about it? They are talking of security and arms and all that. They've closed their borders boldly. So we should take a cue from what they are doing.
Are you suggesting that Ghana should also close its borders to Nigeria?
We are telling the Ghanaian government to be bold when they take decisions, and not only to be looking at just ECOWAS, because ECOWAS, when it suits Nigeria, they'll go there. When it doesn't suit them, they'll be bold enough to say that this is what we are doing. But in this case, for instance, we are happy that they have some tete-a-tete, and they are telling us that we should bring some modalities. We are hoping that we agree on something quickly. We can't wait to the 2020 they are talking about, because no one was warned that this is what was going to happen. And therefore, we have a lot of goods at borders. We have some coming from the manufacturers who are going there. We have traders who are bringing goods to and fro. So there's a problem. It is going to affect trade. And you see it's affecting their indicators. And therefore, they might be having some good intentions in what they are doing, but the way it was couched was not proper, and it's affecting both ends. The earlier they do something about giving a leeway, that some businesses should flow, is better. Otherwise, perishable goods are going to get spot, and how are we going to quantify the cost?
They said that you said they've asked you to come to work out a certain modality. What exactly are they asking?
Well, they're asking the Trade Ministry and Foreign Ministry to do so. We would just suggest to our ministries that they should let them know that, look, we are all suffering from the untimely measures they put in. And therefore, if they are working some modalities toward Ghana and Nigeria, then they should put in that there should be a leeway to open that border closure for Ghanaians, for us to do trading with them. Because if it's not targeted at us, then it's affecting us. So how best are we going to have it in a way that it will help us, so we don't suffer as some of their members too are suffering? And they don't.
Their members are suffering. The members that work with you in the same markets are suffering.
They are suffering, but quite miraculously, some are be able to get their goods in. And we want to.
How do you know that?
We know because we are on the market, and therefore our security should even be wondering where they are passing through. But we know we have porous borders, so it shouldn't be anything. You have to look far to know how these things are getting. But be it as it may, it's not a healthy cause. If they know that it's the Benin border and whatever they are targeting, they should know how it's structured, so that we don't suffer unduly. Because it's sending very wrong signals to our members who are on our neck day and night and telling us that, you see, you told us to keep our cool, and look at what is happening. What are they doing? They are sanitizing their place. What are we doing? Telling us to keep our cool.
What exactly do you want? You said that they told you to keep your cool. But then they are sanitizing their system. Exactly what do you expect the government of Ghana to do about this?
To push our agenda, to ensure that we play a partnership role and not a big boss. And we are all sovereign countries. And the size of your country does not make you bigger in whatever you do. No, it's not that way. We shouldn't see them as bigger boys bullying us. We all
you feel that what Nigeria is doing amounts to bullying?
Yes, every time they seem to have their way. See, what is the ECOWAS trade treaty for? It's for free movement of goods and services. So what are they doing? They are impeding it. If they are impeding it, what does that tells us? It tells us that they feel bigger, and therefore they are able to put some measures regardless of any treaty and do what they want. I don't think it's a fair thing to us, especially when we are always spoken to and we tell our members to keep their cool. And we are suffering the blood because Nigerian businesses are virtually taking over all the businesses in Ghana. It's very unfair when there's a law.
Do you think that the Ghanaian market can do without the Nigerian market?
See, why do we have that integration? Because we feel that no country is an island. And therefore, there should be that businesses among us. And if we are even pushing from ECOWAS and going to African free trade, and what are we doing if we start closing borders because we feel this way and we feel that way? It doesn't work out well for whatever free trade that we are looking at. And we are even talking of using the ECO. How can the ECO come on if we are doing this kind of things? Okay,
so yesterday that meeting happened. I believe that it brings the goods to some level of relief as we wait for the modalities, as you call it.
We are relieved we had the meeting came on. But then we will have more relief if whatever modalities will be worked out quickly so that businesses can start. Because as now people are losing their livelihoods now. People's items are locked up. Like I gave you a typical example. And therefore, who is gaining here?
If this should come, and I'm not really privy to the modalities, because you said that the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Industry, and then the Foreign Affairs will have to come together to work out that modality. But assuming it has anything to do with the ECOWAS Treaty, the part which has been a bone of contention between Ghanaian and Nigerian traders recently, if it has anything to do with it, then it has to do with allowing Nigeria businesses to trade just as Ghanaians, trade according to the ECOWAS Treaty, as they said. What would the response of Guta be?
The treaty, we should all not just batch it up. The treaty gives a leeway to member countries. You can move into any member country from a member country and do your trading. We have 3 months to 90 days to do your business. So many years back, most of Nigerians come in, they supply goods to us, we buy from them. 3 months time, they take their money and they go back. No one has stopped that. The point is that immediately you decide to stay within and make this place a permanent place to stay, then you go through some modalities. I'm not sure this is something huge or difficult to ask. Go through the proper modalities. Let us know your status. Why are you here? What sort of businesses are you doing? How much are you putting into your business? I mean, you come to the country, you pay the interagency task force we had. We went around. And some of these businesses, foreign traders, were not even paying the requisite taxes. We saw it in Titoli, we saw it in Swami magazine. They were not paying taxes. You ask them, some just know of AMA tickets. So what does that tell you? It tells us that our agencies should be up and doing, they should be doing the proper thing.
So back to the question, as we wrap up, Mr. Yeboah, is that if they come and say, well, as part of the modalities, Ghanaians or the Ghana government has accepted that Nigerians should operate, just the way Ghanaians operate. I mean, even beyond the 90 days, they're allowed to go. Is that something that the Guta and other members are willing to accept?
Even beyond the 90 days, and they are giving the goods to Ghanaians, or you buy and go, that should never be a problem. But if you decide to come and stay, that's a problem. We are looking at a huge population there. We are talking about. If 1/10 decide to stay and make this place their permanent place, where would you think will happen in our country? We will be in trouble. It will throw our whole agenda overboard. Because there are over 200 million of them there. So we have to look at all this and not sign on to anything that will affect us in the long run, because we want to do some trading with them. We should look at what they are saying Nigeria first. We should look at Ghana first.
Ghana first, he says. This is Guta, Ghana Union of Traders Association. Benjamin Yeboah is the National Welfare Officer. Mr. Yeboah, as we wrap up, what are your final words?
Our final words is to our members that, yes, they are agitating. We are telling them that, yes, we are in it. We are looking at the situation. Whatever modalities, we would even push and know what is going out there, so that they don't put in, like what you just suggested, anything that would affect us in the long run. So we would work with the Ministry of Trade, work with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and ensure that whatever modality that there is should not be negative. That is a short-term thing that will affect us in the long run. But the most important thing is that if whatever thing they are doing to safeguard whatever they are talking about, security, flooding them, there should be a leeway for businesses to flow now. If it's between Ghana and Nigeria, it should. So that in the long run, we all don't lose. Then going forward, then we all look at the modalities going forward. How we operate so that we don't shortchange each other.
So we don't shortchange each other. Benjamin Yeboah, like I said, is the National Welfare Officer for Guta. Mr. Yeboah, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me, my sister.